Hello and welcome to the Performance Physique podcast. My name is Arj and I am your head coach. This podcast is all about helping you with your running, your nutrition and your training. We take the jargon out of sports science to help you realise your goals faster than ever before. Let's get started.
The marathon is done, but how do you recover and rejuvenate? A man who was with me yesterday during the show, it's our London Marathon expert. He's the founder of Performance Physique, joins me on the line now. Arj Thiruchelvam, great to have you back on the show. How are you doing, firstly?
Shay, thanks ever so much for having me. Yesterday was fun, wasn't it?
It was amazing. It really was. The sun was absolutely shining. It was gleaming. You know, it felt like a glorious day, but there were points where I felt for the runners and just how hot it really was yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's become more and more apparent, actually. So on my walk back from the finish line yesterday, I saw more and more runners really starting to struggle.
Right.
Having been through the heat, and quite a few of my athletes and different individuals I know had actually spoken about the fact that they lost quite a lot of time as a result of that heat. And that's something that everyone needs to be bearing in mind for their recovery.
Can we talk about, firstly, that point? Because yesterday, you know, as I was speaking to a lot of the runners at the finish line, I kept saying to them, let's not talk about timings. It's fine. It's out the window. But actually, today probably is the day when many of the runners are going to be reflecting upon that. How do you not, I don't know, beat yourself up about it? Because for those that have been training for months, if not for years, to do the London Marathon, it's going to be tough, isn't it? When really it was the weather, something that's out of your control completely, that has thrown you when it comes to your run time.
Absolutely. I think it's really important, actually, to consider that less than 1% of the population run a marathon, first of all.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know, that really sets you apart from everyone else. The second thing is the London Marathon isn't known for being about the fastest course or anything like that. It's known for being the most invigorating course out there, you know, the crowd and the route that's taken. So you need to remember that this perhaps gave you more of an event rather than anything else. But obviously I understand you were hunting for a time. It doesn't mean you can't ever run another marathon. So if you were disappointed with the time you ran, you need to think, okay, that was a great experience. Next time I do one, I want to go for a particular time. I want to maybe change a few elements. Maybe I need to spend a little bit more time on some of my long runs, or maybe a little bit more time on your fueling. And you need to look for those silver linings. Where can you maybe get a little bit more out of? But the first rule I always say is that for 48 hours, you need to just admire what you've managed to achieve. Then you can start going to work on what needs to change.
Something that I saw a lot of people talking about yesterday was with the London Marathon, it was about finish lines, not finish times. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a nice saying, isn't it? I really like that.
It's because of the fact that for many people, the weather did throw them. And so just completing it was an achievement, of course, in and of itself. But as you say, today you might well be reeling from your time. But how do you ensure that you get past that?
Yeah, so it's important to consider both the physical and the mental aspect of this. So a marathon in regular conditions, which would be about 10 degrees. So if we put that into perspective, yesterday being around 22 degrees, a normal marathon, you know, we spoke briefly yesterday, would require about 2 to 3 weeks worth of recovery. For 8 days, our body is actually in a state of really high inflammatory response. It's quite dramatic, actually. You usually only see this with a serious infection. And when you go faster or work harder, that damage increases. So with the conditions, the heat and the direct sunlight, that then it goes up even further. So the first thing is people need to bear in mind the extra attention they need to pay over the next week of, okay, I'm going to do some light stretching, I'm going to walk, I'm going to maybe pop to the local leisure centre and do a couple of swims, whatever they manage to fit in. But it needs to be really low intensity to help the body deal with effectively the inflammation that's occurring internally. The mental part is definitely the hardest aspect. coming to terms with maybe something didn't go quite right. You need to note down the things that you're grateful for, the things that you feel did go well. And at the end of the day, being able to run in this event is a privilege. There were over 800,000 applicants. And we now know 56,000, a world record. That's not great odds, is it, to take part?
Absolutely.
So if you manage to take part,
you should be celebrating. You're absolutely right in that, Arj. You really should be celebrating because there are so many wins there. The fact that, as you've mentioned, the 2025 London Marathon set the new world record for the number of finishes, despite just how hot it was yesterday. Total of 56,640 runners crossed the finish line at the end of the 26.2 mile route. And as you say, Guinness World Records has confirmed that as a new world record set. Wow. The ballots are open now, aren't they?
They are indeed, and they're only open for, I think it's 4 more days. So it's a really small window, isn't it? It's really, really short. And, that actually catches people out a lot. So the ballot is open right now to sign up for next year. And I think you find out some point during July. So you get pretty quick responses from the organisers to see if you need to start training for it.
The other element that we did kind of mention yesterday with the London Marathon, of the UK applicants last year, 49% were female. And there's also been a 105% increase in applicants from people aged between 20 to 29. So many changes and in the step in the right direction, clearly.
Yeah, that's amazing. Was that announced today, was it?
Yeah. Absolutely
wow. So that echoes something that we're witnessing in sport at the moment, which is this emerging theme that the next generation take their health very, very seriously. Mm-hmm. And women are not feeling like they have to exercise in hiding it effectively, in the background. And, we discussed yesterday about so many women's successes occurring on the track. This is obviously helping push the message to teenage girls who notoriously drop out of sport and activity that actually, no, it's great to participate. It's good for your health. It's good for your mental health. And it's also good for your social health as well, interacting with each other. It
completely is, and for the next coming, let's say if we focus on this next month, what should be in the diary for many of the marathon runners moving forward? What would you be telling your athletes essentially to be focusing on then?
Yeah, so everyone for me today has a homework task, which is to effectively write down three positive reflections and 3 reflections where they would like to say make an improvement on what didn't go quite right.
Right.
Notoriously, tomorrow is where Marathon Blues set in.
Oh dear!
So it was such an amazing occasion.
Yeah.
And now it's all over. It's been 4 months of your hard work. Your brain capacity has been about it all. Yeah. Today you told all your colleagues at work, and then tomorrow no one wants to hear any more about it. So it's about actually thinking, okay, well, I know what I did was this amazing achievement. What do I want to try next? So start looking at some events or some activities or some challenges which really interest you. And then perhaps even consider signing up for 1 or 2 of those over the next couple of weeks. That really starts the ball rolling. And remember, as humans, we love structure, don't we? We like to know what's about to happen.
Yeah, totally.
That kind of point in the future means that we can structure our weeks and our training heading towards those dates.
When's the first day you should be going for a run, though?
Probably next Monday to Wednesday. It does depend on how much you're struggling.
Really? So give your body, you're almost saying give yourself like a full week then before you get running.
Yes, 100%. There's no running this week. It needs to be really light intensity. I saw some individuals running back from the finish line yesterday, and I thought, I cannot believe it,
Yeah, what are you doing?
I had to stretch after being stood with you yesterday, let alone running.
It was the first thing for our listeners, I should share. When we got to St. James Park, it was the first thing me and the team were doing. It was like, right, let's have a stretch then, shall we? We're going to be stood on our feet for the next couple of hours. Listen, Arj, it's been a real pleasure speaking to you over the last month, and thank you for all of your expert advice. People can find you on performancephysique.co.uk. How do they find you also on social media?
If they just type in performance_physique and my smiley face will pop up. But Thanks ever so much, Shay. It's been a pleasure with you guys.
It really has. And honestly, thank you for all of the top tips. I know they've been so valuable for so many. Great speaking to you. I'll speak to you soon.
Take care.
Thanks again, coach there and founder of Performance Physique, Thiruchelvam, also our London Marathon expert.
Thank you very much for listening to the Performance Physique podcast. Don't forget, you can find us on Instagram. It's at performance_physique. You can find us on Facebook, Performance Physique, or if you just head to performancephysique.co.uk, and we'll do our very best to help you. It will mean the world to me, though, if you can share this podcast with one friend this week. Right, for now, take care.